Paul Boney from Subluma. Um, Today I'm going to give you a quick tutorial on how to build an icon. Logo design and branding is something I work quite a lot on. It's something I specialize more in. I regularly do these on a day-to-day basis. So I kind of had a bit of spare time today, and I wanted to use up that time for something productive. So I figured I would give you a little step by step of how I would basically work on an icon. So I picked out a Twitter logo, which is something you're going to be familiar with, and we're going to talk today about the golden ratio method, which is it's something applied to keep basically your logos and icons in proportion when you're building that brand. So I'm going to basically do that now and show you here how we would basically create that. Here to the left is basically the golden ratio. And what that is a series of 9 circles. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this spare artboard here to basically show you how I'd create this golden ratio. So what we're going to do first is we're going to use the rectangle tool, and we're going to just click once on there, and we're going to go 10 by 10. It's going to be small here, so we're going to have to zoom in, and I'm going to show that. So I'm going to remove the fill. So you to the right hand side here, we've got a stroke and we've got a fill. So at this sort of process in time, we're just going to remove the fill, and we're just going to put it to 1 pixel. So we've zoomed in here. What we're going to do is we first of all get the rectangle, and then what we're going to do then is get the circle tool. Now to make it easier, what you're going to most probably want to do is, if you look on view here, you're gonna look at a little thing called smart guides. This is going to be something that's going to snap in the shapes into place, so you're not kind of fiddling about too much, and it's a pretty effective tool, this smart guides. Sometimes it can have a tendency to basically not snap in, but if you zoom in a little bit, it'll basically snap in, no problem. So yeah, what we're going to do here is I'm going to grab the circle here, and I'm going to put that up to there as well. So there we go, it snaps into play. I'm just going to put that onto 1 pixel, and again I'm going to remove the fill. So yeah, it's not quite snapped into place there. So if I just quickly have a little fiddle about with that, as you can see, that's now snapped into place nicely. So when you do that, you want to basically highlight all of those, and you want to just basically um, drag that down to there. And what you want to do now is you want to grab the top ones here, and you want to just basically keep your finger on shift and duplicate. Now how you duplicate is you press options and highlight the section which you want to duplicate. So I'm just going to press shift, and that keeps it straight, so it doesn't kind of move out of sync with the actual right one here. Once you've done that and duplicated that right circle here, what we want to do is just keep your finger on shift again, and that will keep it in proportion. Again, if I move it up and down and things like that, it's going to keep it all in the correct proportion for me. Once I've basically moved that across, I'm just going to double check that that's all snapped into place there. Sometimes again it will have a tendency of knocking out of sync. So I'm going to put that in, and yep, there we go, that's all synced in nicely. Sometimes what some people do is, if you press command and Y, what that will do is basically give you the wireframe of what you're working on. Now I like to do this because it keeps everything in order, and the pixels on the right hand side there and the strokes tend to not to wander. So yeah, what we're going to do is going to keep that like that. What you do once you get that 3 circles in place, like we've just discussed, basically get to the top right and top left here, sorry, keep your finger on shift, and then basically rotate that round. Now if you keep your finger on shift, you can basically keep it in, again, proportion, either 45 degrees and then straight up to the top, and it doesn't kind of go off sort of scale. So again, if I don't press shift, you can see I can just do that, and it can basically be a little bit wonky. So if we just undo that, and then I keep your finger on shift, and then we can do that. Now once we do that, we want to basically repeat the process. Now again, like I said earlier, we want to get 9 circles here. So duplicate that again, just move that up and make that snap into there. And once you've done that, just quickly put it down to that line there, and then that's basically done exactly the same again. Highlight all of the cells which you're working on. Just quickly move that to the side a little bit. Do the same again, duplicate across, move that down, and do the same again like we've just done. So you want, like I say, you want to repeat this process until you've got 9 circles. So again, like I was telling you earlier on there, sometimes the snap has a tendency to basically not snap, so you need to have a little bit of a fiddle around here. Sometimes it might be best going to this side, snapping it if it basically should snap, which it's basically not. So there, move up. Just quickly fiddle it out. There you go. It's fiddled about. So what we'll do is, again, it's all highlighted still, so keep your finger on shift and just move that across. The reason why the snap guide sometimes has a tendency to mess about, because when there's multiple circles, it kind of has a little bit of a head fry, and it doesn't tend to realize which one you actually want to snap. So again, once you zoom in and you target those areas, then it kind of realizes which one you want to snap, and it snaps it perfect. Now, it is really important to make sure that everything's snapped accordingly, because then you'll have problems with working with these shapes later on. So again, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, let's repeat this process here. Move it around, just quickly zoom in a little bit, move across, snap that in place, and then let's do the snapping again. That's gone in perfectly fine this time, so it's not messing about too much. Do the same again, just move that down, highlight these areas again, just move that across, snap it in. Now it can be a little bit of time consuming at first, but again, it is so important to make sure that you're working with this rule, because you really see anyway, once I show you how it works here, you'll really see the difference when you're working on your icons and whatever else you're working on, like sort of vector illustrations and things like that. It's such a great method to use, and you'll see the results once you do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we need to just do a couple more here. So let's move this around. I'll just quickly blast through this, snap that into place. Oops. Just quickly get that down there. Come on, snap into place, man. So it's having a little bit of a head mess up here with this one, last couple of ones. So yeah, straight away sort of turn that diagonal across, quickly do one more, move that across, and then quickly zoom in, just so we can finish off this process here, and then we can move on to the next stage of the tutorial. So just quickly move that across here, and the last one's going to mess around. There you go. Just quickly snap that in. So there we have it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's our golden ratio in place now. So what we need to do at this point is, now we've got the sort of circles at the correct ratio between each other, we're going to use these circles now. So now what we don't need is we don't need the outlines, so you can kind of go ahead and quickly delete all these outlines, which we're not going to use now. So blast that off, same as that one, and that one. Get rid of that. 2 more. Just quickly highlight these 2, get rid of them. Now we've got these circles, we need to basically put those aligned. So we're going to select all of them, and then if you go up to your line tool at the top, which is your horizontal align center, click that, and then do the same for the vertical align center. And what that's going to do is give you a kind of a sort of an aligned spectrum of circles, which we've just worked on there. And you're going to get something such as this one here to the left. So this is one I prepared earlier, and this is something that I'm working on. So now we've created that process, you know how to do that, and how we can use that now to basically create our icon here, which is the Twitter logo, which was selected. Now, once you've got those circles and you've got these templates, never delete the originals. This is the one we're going to work on. So what I tend to do is I'll keep that first framework here, and then I'll basically highlight that, duplicate it, and then I'll remove the squares. So we've always got an original copy to work on, just in case anything happens. Once we've got the circle again, keep those as originals, and we can basically go back to those. So what I've done is I've highlighted all that and I've duplicated it to this. Now once we've got this one here, this is the one which we're going to use in our logo. So if we basically now click Command and Y, that's going to remove the wireframe process which we did use for this one here. So once we've done that, we're basically going to use this Twitter logo as an example. Once you've done this here, you can move this to any size. As long as you highlight them all and not individual, you can use this to any size. Now we're going to need to do that so we can find the actual size of the actual circles which we're going to use. Now in this case, I've created this one. So to show you how you basically apply that circle there to the outside, you can basically see what type of size we're going to be working on. So first of all, we're going to get this shape here, which is the outer side of the actual bird. So if you press your finger on Option and just basically like hover on the actual circle which you want and click Option, and what that's going to do is, as you can see there in the path, it's going to give you a little duplicate icon. Click that and duplicate. Never use the originals. Again, like I said earlier on, this is going to be a template, so we can always go back in case anything happens. So as you can see there, I've basically used that circle to get the outer layer there. Now, once we get the outer layer, we're going to have a little quick look at the size. So this one, in this case, I'm going to look to see, let's say for example, we duplicate that big outer one and have a look at this size. See this wing here? Yep, that looks like the right size for that one. And if we do the same for this one, as you can see, it doesn't quite fit. So we'll just delete that and then look at the next one down. So as we move further down here, we're going to see which one actually works for this particular section of the bed. So yeah, as you can see there, this one looks like it's going to fit exactly much better. Yeah, so that fits perfect in there. And now what we want to do is apply that to, say, these ones here. So there's one on there, that fits perfect, and then the same for that one there. So I'm going to duplicate that one because I know that's kind of the right size for his wings. So I know it's not going to be any other size because all these wings are in proportion. So for this section here, it's looking like it's going to be slightly smaller. So I'm going to go for the one. I'm going to go for the one down. So I'm going to move into there and I'm going to have a quick look. Just kind of make sure that fits in there perfect. Do the same for the one down. So I'm going to move that across. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this one here, which is the big wing at the top. So as you can see, it's a lot more bigger, that curvature. So yeah, there we go, that fits perfect in there. I'm going to look at the head now. I'm going to quickly move that across to the head, and that fits perfect in there, as you can see. Do the same again for the beak here. Yep, that looks like a perfect fit in there. Do the same again for this one. As you highlight over, you can see the line, so you can see exactly which one's going to be the best fit. So have a quick look at this one here. Yeah, and that fits perfect for this one. Same for this one. Let's have a look. Let's get that perfect. Yeah, that fits perfect. So now what we can see if we just move out our templated golden ratio circles here, just to kind of give you a look on what we're working with here now. So if you highlight all of this, we need to basically now build the shape which we're looking for. So as you can see here, I've highlighted it. And sometimes it's best in this instance to quickly go back to your Command and Y to get a proper look at the actual shape which you're working on. As it happens for this tutorial, no, what I'll do is I'll keep the shape on, and what I've done to the right hand side, I've locked that shape so you can't actually move it or anything like that. That'll give us an idea of the shape which we're trying to achieve. So once we highlight all of this, what we want to do is you go to the left here and you look at a shape builder tool. What that does is allowed us to build the shape. Now if I was to keep my finger on Alt and press the shape here, press enter, just press your left mouse, that will actually remove the shape. Now if I don't press Alt, I can basically highlight through them shapes here and just basically build the shape which I'm looking. As you can see, what it does is it combines all of those shapes together which we've worked on, all of those different elements of what we've been building here. You can basically merge all those together, and that will basically build the actual shape which we're looking for. So all you need to do is go through them and just double check that we've got them all. So there, you just need to double check. Same for this one here, just make sure that we got rid of all of these little sort of snaggly bits which we don't actually need. Same on the outside, get rid of those there. Just make sure you press Alt, Option Alt. In some cases, I'm using Mac at the moment, so if you keep your finger on Option, which is the Alt command, you can basically now remove those shapes rather than merging them together. So this is such a great tool when you're working on anything, this shape builder. It doesn't have to be a logo, an icon as such, it could be anything. When you want to merge some shapes together, it's a lot easier than the Pathfinder tool, which can be a little bit time consuming and trying to select the correct sort of shapes and edges and things like that. It can become a little bit of a pain in the backside. So yeah, just going to quickly merge these. The same for this one, get rid of this one, just quickly get rid of that. That wasn't the right one, just have to make sure you do get the right one. So as you can see, I've just got rid of that. So it's really coming together now, and you can actually see exactly what we've done and how we achieve it. So yeah, once we've done that, we've basically just built that shape. And if you just sort of have a look and just a quick double check, just to make sure that we've got all of the required shapes. There we go. Yep, so there we have it. That's the shape which we're looking for. So if we just move that up, come off, go on to, now we can basically tick the fill button, and now we can just basically change the fill. We can change the colors and things like that, but for this tutorial I'm just going to highlight the actual original color of the icon, the logo, just to obviously now you can see what we've actually built and created. So yeah, I just hope this tutorials gives you a little bit of an idea of how you would actually go ahead and build those shapes and put it into your own logos and projects, and I hope it helps you. And that was basically the whole idea of this tutorial. So any questions, just drop us a comment. Anything else that you want to build upon this icon, I'm happy to share my knowledge and hopefully give you a little bit of an idea of how to enhance those logos. So yeah, feel free to give us a comment, and good luck on your projects. Thank you very much.